There are so many things that I still need to get done in the garden, and I'm going to use the next couple of days to hopefully accomplish a lot of those things. I've got to plant it out. It is time to get everything in the ground that I am going to be growing this year. But before I do that, I am going to just really quickly transplant. I planted a bunch of marigolds in these little pots, and I'm just going to quickly transplant those into their own individual pots, so that way when I go to companion plant them where they are going to be forever, it'll be easy. So as soon as that's done, we'll move on to other things, but that's where I think I need to start. All of these marigolds are going to be spread throughout my garden because they are going to basically be used as companion plants. And I'll go into companion planting in another video, but for now I just want to pot these up so that they have time to grow. I also have onions that I need to let grow for a little bit longer that can also be companion planted. So that is the goal. They just need to grow a little bit more. And then these are the onions right here that I'm just waiting to get a little bit longer. There are 144 onions there. As if I don't already have enough onions out in the outside garden, which you'll see in a second because that's one of the things I need to sort of deal with. I also need to deal with this stuff. So all of these plants are the things that I need to put in my garden. Not all of them, but mostly this stuff down here and a couple of these things over here. I will show you really quick. These are all the butterfly bushes that I sprouted from seed, and they are doing beautiful, except for this one for some reason. I'm going to take you outside to the greenhouse outside garden and I'll show you what's going on. So these are carrots here, and I think that these guys are pretty much ready to come out. Yeah, I'm going to pull this one right here because I need to also use this bed, but they might not be the longest, but they're definitely ready to come out. And if this didn't have all this dirt on it, I would eat it. Nothing better than a fresh carrot smell pulled out of the ground. On the other side of the carrots is this bed here, and this bed is empty. It's ready to go. I think I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment in this bed. I watch a YouTuber named Beauty in the Garden, and what she did is she put watermelons in the back, peppers in the middle, and then onions in the front. So I'm gonna give that a try. Why not? Small space gardening, right? So that's what I'm going to do in this bed. And then I also need to build some trellises in here because I'm going to have a bunch more tomatoes in here. So this right here is just a small trellis that I built. It's a little bit different than the other ones that I just built, but I have 2 Roma tomatoes in here alongside some zucchinis and a volunteer nasturtium, which I love. And I just threw up this trellis really quick because it needs to be trellised. So I need to probably do one in this bed behind me because there's also some more tomatoes back here alongside some more zucchinis and squash. This plant right here is actually like 5 celery plants, and I don't know what the deal is with this, but I pulled one the other day to give it a taste. And although it tastes like celery, it has that quintessential celery flavor. It tastes salty. So I don't know what's going on with that. I was hoping to be able to harvest this and at least get a use out of it, but I just don't think that is going to happen because I don't think it's going to taste good in anything. So this is coming out. Most of my onions, I think, are going to come out because they are starting to flower. I have gone through and cut off most of the flowers, but I don't know if that really makes a difference. I mean, maybe it focuses the plant to grow a bigger bulb for just a shorter period of time. I'm not really sure, but I am going to, every one of them that has flowered, I'm going to go ahead and take those out, and I'll show you what the center stalk looks like where the flower grows. They're pretty fat even after I cut them off. So as you can see, they're all just kind of starting to flower, and that just means it's time. Some of them aren't very big, but that's okay because I will process these smaller ones and just freeze them. some of them I'm actually quite proud of. Like that fatty right there. But if you look right here, this is the center stem that I have cut the flower off, and it's really, really fat. So I think it's time to take these out. Like these big ones right here, I am going to try and dry them to store. Not dry them, but just, you know, get them to store and not freeze those ones so I can have some onions on hand. So I've got a lot of garden work ahead of me still before I can say that this area is complete to my liking. So I guess the only thing to do now is get to the work. Muchacho, nacho. So I'm gonna take these watermelons here, and I am probably gonna crowd them, I don't know, but I am just going to put them pretty far back because they're going to hopefully trellis up here. And these aren't huge watermelons, these are little watermelons, so they shouldn't be a problem as far as hanging, but I'm just going to stick them back there pretty far. I'm gonna do 3 of them. Again, I might be overcrowding, but I guess that's the fun of growing your own garden, is you can pretty much do whatever you want. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. That's the whole point, is to learn, right? Like I was saying, I saw Beauty in the Garden do this, and I wanted to give it a try. I will link her video, or I mean her channel, down below, so you can check her out. I really like watching her, and so I thought, you know, I am going to give it a try. And it's gonna be a while before I can actually get those onions in the ground because they are just so little still. I mean, I could probably get away with putting them in now, but I'm just gonna wait a little while longer. And I'm going to leave my cups here so I can label. And then I'm gonna come in between here. So I was originally gonna put 3 peppers in here, but I'm just gonna come in between right here, and I'm only gonna put 2 peppers. I grew both of these peppers. I grew all of these from seed here, but this is an orange spice jalapeno. So this is an orange jalapeno. So that'll go in there, and I will label that. Those are in, and we will see how this works. Ooh, big old fatty. Fat fatty. Fat fatty. What? Look at that monstrosity. What the heck? That is an awesome bunch of carrots. And that big one, did you see that big one? That thing was massive. Check it out. What? What even is that? That's awesome. All right, so I'm glad I went ahead and got rid of the carrots because I think that they were pretty much at their peak. These are not massive carrots, and I actually tried to grow 2 different varieties, your typical orange carrot, and then a mixed variety which had white and purple, and these are the only white and purple that I got out of there, and they're just nothing to write home about. But I am going to leave the dirt on these for now because I will process them somehow in a little while. I'm going to get to the rest of this garden and then we will finish planting. All right, I'm taking everything out that has or has had a flower on it, and then I will leave everything that doesn't have a flower on it, like that's a flower. And even though it's small, it's still gonna be usable. All right, I had to stop for a second because I have baby turkeys And this morning, something was going on inside of the coop, and I think what it was is that I have two hens. One of them was sitting on eggs the whole time, and the other one, I think, decided she wanted her babies. So when I went out there this morning, unfortunately, I found 5 of them no longer around. And the other ones I found kind of scattered, hiding under places. So I decided to just grab all the babies, put them back with the original mom, and lock the original mom into the coop. And I had a chicken who wanted to go into the coop to lay her egg. I put that chicken in there with her, and just now she was done laying the egg and I could hear the commotion in there. So I went and grabbed the egg, let the chicken out, and one of the baby turkeys just isn't doing very well. So I've decided to just put it in my pocket, keep it a little warm until it can reacclimate, because I think it was just away from its mommy hiding for too long that it got cold. So I'm going to keep it in my pocket for now, and then maybe put it in the incubator for a little while until it comes back to have some spunk. So anyways, that's my story, and I'm going to continue on with these onions with a turkey in my pocket. That is a large stack of onions that I now have to deal with. I have a couple more that I need to pick, but for the most part, these are what I'm gonna go for today, or right now anyways, because the other ones I'm leaving, like I said, just haven't even developed a flower yet. So this tomato right here actually had a nice size offshoot that was growing, and so I went ahead and pinched it off and I just stuck it here in the ground. I'm gonna see if it actually takes, because I hear that you can take suckers and just actually start them from the plant. So I had to cut it off anyway, so I decided I was just gonna throw it in the ground. So I've pretty much got everything in here that I want to for the time being, because I still have a bunch of onions in here that are not quite ready to be harvested, and so I'm just going to leave them. But the next thing that I have to do is I'm going to build just a standing trellis in here, just one leg up on the other side and straight across, and tie it together for the tomatoes that I have in here. And then I'm going to get to these onions and put them in the greenhouse so that they can start curing. When I made my bamboo trellis before, when I was cutting it, I was using some sort of, it wasn't really a machete, but it was machete-like. And it would split the ends of the bamboo, or this reed grass stuff. And I'm gonna try a little bit differently this time and see how that does. I'm gonna use this little saw here, and hopefully it will eliminate that problem of it splitting. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but we're gonna give it a try. Perfect. I bought this pack of garden stakes, or garden staples, I guess, on Amazon. I'm not exactly sure how much I paid for them. It wasn't expensive, and I believe there's about 16 in there. I don't know. But these are what I'm going to stake my trellis down with. Not my trellis, but my string with, so that my tomatoes can then be attached to this twine. And this trellis is not in the ground very deep because I have that wire mesh on the bottom of my boxes, and it doesn't leave much room for putting these down very far. So hopefully they're down far enough and I don't have to worry about them falling over as the plant gets heavier and heavier, because that would suck. So again, I'm just going to wrap the twine around like this, and I'll probably do the same to the top, but I'm going to come in as close to the plant as possible and just shove that stake into the ground, and then take the rest of this twine up here. I'm going to pull this sort of tight, and then I'm going to wrap the rest of this around the top up here. And you can see how wobbly this is. So I don't know how long it's going to last, but here we are. Seems to be a running theme in this garden of, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're doing it. And then once that's done and I've wrapped it all the way around, I am just going to loosely tie it in here at the top. I think this is where I'm going to lay my onions, but I think I'm going to grab some cardboard and lay that down and then put the onions on top of the... Alright, I have a lot of onions, so I am just going to kind of come through and brush off the dirt as best as I can. And I'm just going to start laying them out on this cardboard and giving them enough space so that they are not necessarily touching, but it also gives me, I have as much room as possible to put as many onions on here as I can, because I got a lot. And as these dry out, the dirt will dry and it will be easier to come off. I don't think I'm going to have enough room over here for all these onions. That is a lot of onions, and it is very oniony in here, and I have a feeling it's going to get even more oniony as the days go on and they start drying. So I think what's going to end up happening is, as I go through more of these plants, figure out where to put them, give them away, things like that, I will start putting the onions on these shelves right here, because I just think that I would like a little bit more airspace between them, but I'm dealing with the space that I have. So this is what I've got right now. I think it's going to work for a day or two. I'm not too concerned. I'm pretty happy about the size of some of these onions. Some of them are okay and some of them are small, which is totally fine. I'll just process those and I'll stick them in the freezer so that I can have them for soups and chilies and things like that. Now is the time to finish getting your garden planted, because summer is almost here. It is April 27th, I think, as of me filming this, and it's time. I'm going to quit rambling. I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that this inspires you to get out there and grow a garden of your own, and I will see you next time. Bye!